Good afternoon, everyone, and it's great to be here yet again. We are here for another exciting episode of a Samee Whiz session. We have had a slight change around because of some logistical challenges, so we've moved the weeks around a little bit. And Lorraine, bless her, has jumped in and said, "Yes, I'm happy to do mine this week." So I'm really excited about this, and we're just letting people start to come on now as they start to join us and start to watch us on the live. So here they start to come in. So we are back with Lorraine and SWAD because we wanted to do a very exciting update as to what was going on with SWAD. So we're going to come over to that in a moment. If you have got any questions, as you know, you can put the comments in the live or you can email us at sam@samee.co.uk. We've also got ricky@samee.co.uk, so you can drop through the emails. But if you can comment, join in, let us know the value you're getting, let us know the questions that you've got, and let us know any comments you've got and what you're finding out. So we have another exciting issue and I'm looking forward to this one. This is going to be good as usual. So without further ado, Lorraine, thank you ever so much for joining us this week. And would you like to tell everyone, just for those that maybe have not seen our first Samee Whiz session or have not heard from you before, can you just tell them a little bit about SWAD, what it's all about, and just give a brief update, and then we'll talk about where you've been and where you are.
Okie dokie. Well, SWAD stands for Sex with a Difference, and we've been running this project for several years now. Started off with the situation I found myself in, to do with asking for help on sexual expression in relationships, not getting the help, and then deciding I was going to do something to make sure that other people got the help that they wanted. And I started running some sex discussion groups, sex and disability discussion groups where I used to live. And over the last few years, things have sort of gone in a little bit of a wave, ups and downs as life got in the way. But we are just about to launch/relaunch on the 1st of December, thanks to support from you guys at Samee and various other mentors.
Wonderful.
And just everything aligning so that we can go forward. So yeah, it's been, this year has been horrendous in terms of people's health and lockdown and stuff. But I don't know if it's because more people were at home and looking around for things to do. But we just seem to have really done a giant leap forward in this year. So yeah, it's been quite exciting, really. Yeah.
Wonderful. That's brilliant. And it has been exciting. And we have got people who are already on board and they're saying hello. So we've got the Samee team, as you know, in the back office. We've got Martin is saying hello. Nice surprise to see you. Lorraine Stanley. Hi, Ricky too. So yes, it's a lovely surprise to see Lorraine. Lowry is saying hello, Lorraine from Lowry. So Tina is saying hello, hey, hello. Sam Everard is saying, so we've got the bosses on as well. So I better behave. She's saying, hi, you. Looking lovely today and great to hear from you. Exciting news. We've got a couple of web links. So we've put the sexwiththedifference.com and we've got the new web link, which we're going to pop up in a moment as well for you, haven't we? So
yeah,
that's
we've got a real grown-up website, thanks to the lovely Martin, who was one of the Samee dinners. And the reason he's a little bit surprised to see me here today is because we had a very much fun Zoom session about the new website, and he was doing some fantastic training of us, and it was a right laugh. Can't go into details because it's not for, it's sort of it's not PG rated.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was great fun, and I just I'm sure many of the people who are looking at this have found themselves in positions at some point in their lives where you just feel your brain is expanding because there's all this new stuff that's being learnt. And yeah, so it's very exciting. So yeah, Martin wasn't expecting to see us today, but yet here we are. So
yeah. Brilliant. And I've put the new website address on the screen as well. So it's www.swaddorset.org. So that's on there. And also, if anyone has got any questions for Lorraine, you can email her, and it's admin@swaddorset.org. So I feel a fan page coming on eventually as well. I think that's going to get there at some point. Can you imagine? I think we're going to...
Sorry to interrupt, Lovey, but I did a poll recently on Samee Den because I wanted to put a name to the blog, because we've had a few posts, but now with the new website, it needed a revamp. And I was looking a little bit enviously at some of the other people that I've seen with their really cool catchphrases. And so I thought, right, as I refer to myself with a lot of you in our expanded SWAD team as your favorite neighborhood sex goddess, YFNSG for short, I thought, we'll see if that's a good title for a blog. So I did a poll, so that was an option, and the other option was in bed with SWAD. But the friendly sex goddess bit got a few more votes, so that will be the title. I
think we've had lots of famous trios and followers out there. We've had Diana Ross and the Supremes. We've had other ones. I'm thinking we can have the goddess and the godettes. I think that could work quite well.
Yeah, well, it works because the G could be goddess, it could be god, it could be like guru, because I like my little team of gurus. Geezer, guy, whatever it is that you want it to be. The G is very inclusive. It's like a rainbow G. It's very friendly.
Excellent. So we've got, that's another thing that you'll now be possibly working on.
There's a jewelry line that will be coming out at some point with YFNSG. If it's
I think so. There's got to be. And Lowry is saying, fantastic new website, such good work by Lorraine, Mike, and website designer, which is Martin. Martin's on as well, so we'll get him to just pop his link in the comments just to say, because I know that he has been an absolute godsend for you, hasn't he? He's done really, really well.
It's when you guys say about adding value to something, Martin has been very generous in sharing his experience about marketing. And he's, like yourselves, been very accommodating of my ebbs and flows of energy. Doesn't take offense if I haven't got back to him in a timely manner, and likewise is fine about some of the colourful language that I sometimes end up using. So you guys all roll with the punches. It's great fun.
I think it's topical language. It's related to the subject. It's fine. So I think let's talk a little bit about, because when we did the first session and we were taking you out of your comfort zone a little bit because you wanted to get used to talking in front of people, we wanted to do the Samee Whiz session. So the two just came together and married quite nicely together, didn't they? And how were you feeling about things at that stage where things were going?
Well, if you could have seen what was happening outside of the camera shot, which was like, the jitters and the whole dry mouth thing and the, oh my God, do I really want to do this? Wouldn't it be so much easier if I just thought, no, I'll stay in the background. I won't do any publicity and we'll see who finds us. But that first, because you're my first interviewer, darling, that's you, your favorite. And it helped me realize that I actually know what I'm talking about. And each interview that I've done subsequently, it's really helped me. I've just got more confident in my knowledge, because I worked it out recently. I've been out of the workforce and being in front of people and presenting and delivering training, 13, almost 14 years. And so going from, it's sort of just me or myself and Mike to engaging with all these different people everywhere around the world is a big leap. But doing the step-by-step thing has been brilliant. Yeah. And I know we've kind of pushed you and challenged you a little bit, but I think it's definitely, in the long term, it's paid off and it's worked really, really well. And we're going to talk a little bit about where you've gone to, because when we first started doing a bit of this work and we first started talking, you were like, well, I might do a presentation or two and I might do this, weren't you? You were kind of like, there was a couple of bits that you might work on. And then myself and Simon started working with you,
And we started.
Hello, Simon, if you're watching.
I'm sure he will be tuning in, or he will definitely be tuning in on the replay if he's not in already. So I know sometimes on a Friday he's not able to watch live, but he definitely comes back and watch. So I will make sure he's aware that he needs to be looking at this week. So I think we kind of worked really, really quite closely together. And I challenged your thoughts around what you wanted to do and said, can we push it a little bit further, maybe?
A little bit. Just a little thin bit. It's like a little bit further. And doing stuff like when we had my sort of practice training session recently, and like we went online with the old Zoomy thing, and then it turned out there was several people clustered around you in the office, and it's like, oh, all right, Lorraine. I'm thinking, well, I can hardly say no, but no, it was fine. But dealing with the unexpected really helped. When we talk later about the international conference, if you remind me of that, but that it really, really helped, and it also, in the den, it feels very much like a safe space. So people are rooting for you and encouraging you, but yet you know that they're going to give you some feedback in as constructive a way as possible. And it all helps, because then when I did a second session, we'd tweaked some of the content of the first session. And obviously I've been doing other interviews and things, so it just all flowed a lot better. But it really is valuable having my sort of team of gurus and encouragers. It just builds up your confidence. It's fantastic, because it is scary. It's thinking of becoming self-employed in a way that's different from any way that you've worked before is scary, but it's doable. So that's good.
And I think you took on the challenge really well, because we talked about, okay, let's maybe push it a little bit more, and then you kind of went, let's take myself around the world and talk on different stages internationally and all sorts. So it has been a whirlwind, and I think let's get into some of that now, and let's talk a little bit about that. So I know that we kind of summarized a little bit between ourselves before this session to talk about what sort of things had happened since. And I know one of the things, we've worked quite closely with you, and you said one of the things that had been quite a major factor in the progress had been something we were able to help and support with something. So do you want to talk a little bit about your magic arm, as we call it?
Oh, my magic arm. It is over me at the moment. It's like, if you've ever had the misfortune to be in a hospital bed, or you're visiting somebody, and you've got the TV arm that comes out from the wall, and it's like a robot mechanical thing, so you can angle the TV and things. It's basically that arm, and I've now got my computer monitor screen above me. We got ourselves a super duper camera mic combo, so that I'm actually looking at you rather than sort of having to be at the side. And what it's meant for anybody who hasn't spotted it yet, I am in a bed at the moment. This is my office bed. All my interviews are now done from bed in the office. And it means that I've got like my workspace, but every part of my body, I've got like supporting cushions on various parts of my body, because I have a lot of muscle pain. So it means that normally, if I was having to even sit slightly upright, or certainly if I was sitting very upright, I wouldn't last very long. It would take all my energy to be able to do that, and would cause me a lot of pain. Whereas now I've got it above me. I've got the keyboard just here out of sight, and the mouse is here. It's all supported, which has meant that I've been able to have more energy to actually achieve stuff. So a lot of the research stuff or doing emails, I've got voice recognition software anyway, but it's still just so much more doable to do. And I actually, when we talked about what would make life easier, and you helped me apply for the funding for the arm, I genuinely did not realize what an amazing installation this would be. It's one of, along with the voice recognition software, this is a key thing in us being able to achieve what we've achieved. Definitely this year. I couldn't have done it without it, quite frankly. So yes, so thank you for helping me to get that funding, because that was brilliant.
That is, you are more than welcome. You know, that's the one of the rewarding things, that we can help people and genuinely make life better for them, and mean that they can go on to do the things they want to do. So to know that that's been a small part of it is absolutely fantastic. And I know that sorry, I was just gonna say, I know that Mike overcame a few challenges with screws and stuff as well, didn't he? When putting up the arm.
I'm going to go there. Mike is very good at screwing. It's fabulous. He got his drill out, and there was noise. There were possibly a few rude words, but because he's an engineer and a mechanic and stuff, he looks at something like the arm and all its constituent pieces, and he doesn't freak out and just like go to bed with the pillow over his head going, I can't cope. He goes, oh yeah, it's like that goes in there, that goes in there, and they fit. And before you know it, you've got this super duper arm on over your office bed. And he's an absolute genius. I'm so patient, bless him. So yeah, that really, really helped, because we were just a little bit worried, because it wasn't something like he had never put one together and installed it before. So, but he did it. It was great. Yeah, it was fab.
That's good. That's brilliant. And I know that you know, he's got so much that he's learned and achieved on this journey with you as well. So, and he very much sits in the background, but is very much a big part of what you do as well, isn't he?
He's unfortunately he's helping with something with my son right at the minute, so he's not physically here right at this second, but he helped set up. I mean, just literally before we came live, I had a technical hitch with the camera, and he was like, "Yep," and we sorted it. But also, because one of the challenges that I face is with cognitive stuff, so I can get brain fog, and it means because he's there and he's able to see me and able to be part of the interview, but just not on camera, if he knows there's something I would normally say, but I haven't said it yet, we've worked out, he writes it on a bit of paper and sort of holds it in front of me just at a camera shot. And I'm like, oh, yes. And it all hopefully looks pretty seamless. But there's all this stuff outside of the camera that is going on. Yeah, but he is. And he's really good at techie stuff. Yesterday when we had that session with Martin about the new website and blogs and stuff, Mike is like, he's going to get his teeth into that. So yeah, that's fun. Yeah, it's really good.
Good. And just to because Martin's on and he shared some comments with us, so I just want to share it at this point, and we'll come on to it a little bit in a moment. But Martin is really, really good with you know, the things he does to support, and everyone is in the Samee Den, to be fair. You know, people support each other, and it's a really good network we set up. But if you've got any questions about websites and stuff, then Martin's details are on there as well. And Martin's actually said that if you have a course that can be run online, like video, PDF, images, text, he can help with that too. You can even change your students to partake in. You can charge your students, not change, but we might want to change students sometimes, but you know, you can charge your students to partake in any courses, and anyone associated with Samee, he's offering a free consultation with. So Martin, thank you ever so much. That's amazing. And he's also gone on to say, Lorraine always makes me laugh in her emails to me. Loving her sense of humour always cheers up my day. So that's good. Liz said hi as well. So Liz has joined us, and it's great to see everyone on board. So, you know, say hi. If you've got any comments that you want to make, then obviously add a question, add your comments into the comment section. Let us know the value you're getting and the things that you're enjoying as well. So yeah, so it's good to have everyone on here. So I think we've talked a little bit about that, and you know, we've mentioned him, but I know that one thing that's helped is the relaunch of your website and stuff like that. So, and you've talked a little bit about the gurus. Just talk about a little bit about having these gurus and having these mentoring, and particularly having help with expertise like websites and things where maybe they're not your expertise. How has that helped with the success? What difference has that made?
I think the biggest thing for me is, we had the original website, which is something that I knew we needed to have a web presence. So I sort of ran that website, even though we weren't actually running any training courses or anything. So I decided, with a lot of what's happened with SWAD, I invested in myself, because I felt that this was something that there was a need for, and I was really passionate about it. And I was just determined that I was going to take it as far as I possibly could. And yeah, so the website, having the sort of very like claggy, sort of cloggy, it works, but it's not particularly giving off the it's not just about image, but part of it is the image. If you want to come across as being professional, it helps if you've got a decent looking website. I know you can get ones for free and all the rest of it, but I have only so much brain space and mental energy as well. And I just think if you get the right people around you, then you can delegate and you can confer. And I'm also quite pragmatic. I've never been one to reinvent the wheel. If I see that somebody else has learned and has got to a certain level in whatever their subject is, I don't see the logic in me starting from scratch when I can just go, oh, hi, Ricky. Hi, Sam. Hi, Martin. What about this? One of the things I'm involved at the moment, we're going to be starting up a YouTube channel, and one of the contacts that I've made recently is he is the top YouTube person to do with autism and Asperger's. So I know that now I can just drop him a line and go, hi, just had a question, and because to a person who is expert in their field, the 30 seconds or 4 minutes of their time is worth about 50 hours of your slog. It's like, and people have got expertise, and most people like to help other people. And so it's nice for them to actually be asked. I always love it. If somebody asks me a question, I feel it's a tremendous compliment that they asked me in the first place. And hopefully I've got the answer. If not, we sort of point them to somebody else who probably does. But it's nice. It's nice to be needed and helping, and that's where volunteering and stuff comes in. You feel like you're giving something out there, and then usually, even though that's not why you do it, it shows up in unexpected ways, and the circle continues. So yeah. I've now forgotten what the original question was. So did I answer it?
You have answered it. You've covered it. That's brilliant. And I just want to talk, just coming on to that, because also, the idea of the sessions that we do each week, the Samee Whiz sessions, is to provide some of that support and mentoring, education, knowledge, to show what other people have achieved, to hopefully inspire, and just want to hear from someone who I know is a regular viewer, tunes in every week. What has it done for you? How has it helped you having these weekly sessions?
There is always something that I have learned from it. So when you had that lady recently that had come out of the armed forces, that got me thinking about stuff. Every single person who has been on here, it's either been it's sparked ideas, or it's maybe confirmed that we're doing things on the right track. It also has helped to reassure me that it doesn't matter what a person's qualifications are, you can still make a difference even if you haven't got 4 degrees and a business qualification. That it is like being good enough is good enough, and giving it a go is the important thing, really. And that when people start out, nobody starts out knowing stuff at the sort of optimum level, at the pinnacle of the career. You start usually from the ground up, and that's fine. It's okay to not know all of the answers. And also, the more I have watched other people in interviews and Zoom meetings and such like, is technical stuff does go a bit skew if. or somebody can't figure out the bit on the screen that they need to click on or click off. You know, some people are having a bad day, they drop loads of things, or you know, they lose their train of thought, and other people do it, which means that it's okay if I have a moment. One of my fears was that I'd be in the middle of a conversation and lose the thread and would panic, and I'd be like, sort of thing, rabbit in the headlights. But then when I've realised that other people, regardless of my particular diagnoses, other people, regular people, don't really call people normal because I don't really think that exists, but regular people have that as well. And it's not a reflection of me or my disability, it's just being human, and that makes it so okay. And when I felt that it's okay to have a glitch or a blip, or what some people might call a fail, well, then it doesn't have that power over me anymore, because you're just human. And actually, sometimes you can have a laugh about it, and it can be endearing with other people because they think, oh, you're human. It gives them permission to be human as well and be average, and, you know, just cracking on with things as best you can.
Yeah, excellent. And Tina, it was actually Tina that we had on last week, she's saying, it's your mess that can be a message for someone else. It's finding your echo for your tribe, being real, raw, and honest. That's relatable than perfection. So that's good. Thank you, Tina, for sharing that. You know, and actually, a question that, you know, kind of just come into my mind with that. You were talking about kind of feeling, you know, the fear of getting lost on the thread and the conversation. So for anyone that's feeling that, or anyone that struggles with that, what tips have you got that maybe you would say, okay, here's a couple of top tips to help you remember and stay on thread? What couple of things do you do to kind of help with that?
Something I do is I will have little prompt things around me. So just out of camera shot here, I've got a piece of paper that has written on it about the 2 awards that we've won this year, which I completely forgot to mention yesterday when I said to you some of the things that we've done. So I thought, and I'm never going to remember because they're quite long names and words and things. So I thought, oh, if I just pop that here, it's like, oh, look, there it is. It's magic. But you couldn't see that because it was out of the way. So it's okay to have prompt notes. Things like fresh hot off the press. When people say, oh, well, what's your email address or your mobile phone number or something, what I did is this, which is like a cheat sheet with symbols.
Wonderful.
Laminated, which again is just out of sight. There's a whole cornucopia of stuff. I can't even tell you some of the stuff that's out there. So I'm joking. So things like that, but also admitting, even if you're live on camera in front of however many people, that you have lost your thread is actually okay. And it also keeps your audience on their toes, because if you say at the beginning of a session that, oh, you know, bear in mind, I can lose my thread, so please listen because I may have to ask you where I am, and that engages them, and they're sort of part of the team, and they feel included in it, so that can work quite well. Yeah. We're
excellent. Excellent. And Martin's saying, congratulations on the awards, fantastic achievements. And Tina's also saying, write something down to talk about that your live is going to be about. Absolutely brilliant. I think while now we've mentioned them, I think we should, and Sharon's also said congratulations on the awards as well. So I think we've got a few congratulations that are going to start coming in with that one. So let's while we're on it, let's talk awards. What awards have you won?
There they are, but now you can't see them. Right. So the first one that we won it's the most progressive community health service 2020, Southwest England. And that was an award ceremony by SME News, their Southern Enterprise Awards. So they do awards all over the country. And then the second one that we got was the most innovative disability and sex training consultancy. And that was, again, Southwest England, and that was part of the Corporate Coaching and Recruitment Awards 2020. And those, something one of the reasons I was glad that you're asking me about that is I did some research on possible awards that we would be eligible to go in for. And a lot of awards you can nominate yourself for. Or obviously, if you've got your flexible friends and you say, I'm not allowed to nominate myself for this one, but if you think that this is valid about us as SWAD, could you please nominate us? Or even, hopefully there will come a time where people we don't realise that we've made an impact on may nominate us for things. And what that brought with us is we can use the digital awards logos and things on our website. It means on other documents that we produce, we have the right to use those as well. But each of those awards has got their own built-in networking and publicity and, awards brochures and digital magazines and everything. So you're basically getting this brilliant package of free advertising. And for the subject area that we're involved in with disability, that can affect anybody in any industry because it can happen, long-term health problems. This year, obviously, COVID is the main thing that people are aware of in the media. So there'll be a lot of people with long-term effects from that. Hopefully not too many people, but there are already some. And it means that what we offer will have a direct relationship with a variety of people, all walks of life, all sorts of industries. So as a business, it's entirely valid for us to go in for a business award, but we're also going to be putting ourselves forward for like third sector awards, which is the charity and non-profit section, and also playing to your strengths, because I know that there are awards specifically for women in business. So we're going to be, finding a few of those as well. And just getting out there, because I think there was research that people often it's either 5 or 7 times if they see something about you as a company, it's only after the 5th or 7th time that they think, oh, if a need comes up in their life, they go, I'm sure I read about such and such in so and so, and then they hopefully pick up the phone or email you. And that's how it happens. Yeah, so it's always worth a go. What's the worst that can happen? Hey, they can say no.
Exactly. We've done some really, really good, and you've done really, really well. It's so nice to hear, because the great thing about what we do and the great thing about the mentoring is, seeing people succeed and actually hearing the results that they've achieved through their own hard work. We guide people, we mentor people. It is through their own work, but actually, hearing some of the successes that result on that's really, really good. So we've also put the third sector excellenceawards.com on there, so we've got that one. So I think we've kind of touched on the awards, and we've talked a little bit about where you are. We talked about the magic arm over the bed, and I think you've applied for the new enterprise allowance as well, haven't you? So just talk a little bit about that.
Right, so New Enterprise Allowance, or NEA for short, because it's easier to say, it's part of a government scheme. If you've ever had anything to do with Job Centre Plus and things like universal credit, income support, any of the benefits system, then there is a scheme whereby if you come up with a business idea, providing you meet certain criteria, then you can apply for this. And what if you get signed off on it, so you produce your business plan, it's vetted, it's been judged to be a valid and workable business plan. It means if you're on benefits such as universal credit, you will get a top up for the first, there's a certain amount of money for I think 3 months, and then a slightly less amount of money for a further 3 months, which you get to claim that alongside something like universal credit. So it acknowledges the fact that when you're starting out, you don't usually start out with a great big book of contacts and customers that are immediately going to buy from you. So it gives you a little bit of breathing space. financially without facing any sanctions, which is a word anybody who's had anything to do with the benefit system will dread, because it can be quite stressful. So that was the NEA. With the NEA, you get somebody from Job Centre Plus that is an NEA advisor. And then they link you up with a local provider, which in the Poole area is Pinnacle People. And they supplied a mentor who could help with doing your business plan. And also, oh my God, a nightmare for years for me was the cash flow forecast. Read about it, tried to understand it, watched videos about it, and I'm like, it was not going in. But luckily, the guy that we hooked up with at Pinnacle was fantastic. And all of the work, I suppose one thing message I'd like to get out through this chat today is everything that you have done that leads up to where you are now and stuff that you have learned has been helpful. So back in 2014, when we first did our business plan, the only way you could get it done is I had to pay for my own voice recognition software. So I had to save for that and pay for it, because there was no other way to get the words out of my brain and onto paper. And because at that point we were trying to take advantage of a scheme called Access to Work, which is meant to help disabled people get into work and self-employment. But they were like, well, until you have a business plan, we can't give you the grant that would help with the software. And we're like, well, we can't get that if we can't write the business plan. So there you go. But all of that work I'd done since 2014 on the business plan and updating it meant that when we did this current business plan, it was just like that. There was a few tweaks. And our mentor was able to say that was a fantastic business plan. So we did have 2 or 3 sessions about the cash flow forecast. And the very first one that we did, it came out that I was going to be a multimillionaire, because we put a figure in thinking a certain column meant one thing, and it turned out it meant something else. And we looked at it saying that, we're going to have like 200 million quid in the first year. And I'm thinking, I'm sure that can't possibly be right. And it wasn't, unfortunately, but we had a laugh about it. And yeah, so being on the NEA qualifies you to get that mentoring support. If you're approved for that part of the process, they then send you on to the Startup Loans Company if you need help with the startup loan. Mm-hmm. And I'm very pleased to say that we eventually got through the whole process, and we now have been approved for our startup loan, and we've been approved for the NEA, which means that's why we're going live on the 1st of December. It's like,
wonderful. Yeah. Wonderful. And we'll certainly be shouting out and celebrating about it on the 1st of December as well. I think just want to sort of touch on that as well, just to kind of explain to people that kind of where we come in and where New Enterprise Allowance comes in. So, people start with us from the very beginning with self-employed, as you did, Lorraine, as other people have done. We come in at the very beginning and we support people and help them grow their idea, help them start to look at, how do I put a business plan together if they're needing the business plan. And we kind of then, some people will stay with us and work with us for a little bit longer. Some people, we prepare them to go on to the New Enterprise Allowance, which is kind of your next stage. And some people just come once and get some information, off they go, and they're happy. So that's kind of where everything sits and works, but works very, very well and very nicely together. And we've put a couple of links up for people. So if people want to know a little bit more about New Enterprise Allowance or access to work, it's all in the comments. Also, we've got a bit of information about startup loans as well, because you can self-apply and refer to them. However, obviously through something like New Enterprise Allowance, you will get the support to do that. We've had a quick email from someone who has said, apart from the Magic Arm, and obviously we know about New Enterprise Allowance, did you receive any other funding to help you start your business?
No. Absolutely.
So it was just pretty much the Magic Arm was the but that's proved to be invaluable, I think, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I've had to like the startup loan that I've got is actually it's a loan to me as an individual to help me start up the business. So I'm the one that's liable to make sure that I pay it back. If I didn't pay it back, then they will come after me and they will find me. And quoting a bit of the old Liam Neeson there, I think, on the film. But basically, you know, in the past, to move things forward, like when we did the stand at the big exhibition in NEC Nodex, that was a personal loan that I took out. I saved part of the credit union, took out a loan, then paid it back, because I don't, despite looking for grants and various things, it just wasn't happening. And it was like, well, I really want to get this done. And yes, it's taken a lot more years than I would have liked. But hey, you know, we're going live on the 1st of December. It's been a blast. We've had lots of fun. And we're going to keep going. So yeah, just if you really want to do it, you will find a way. Yeah.
Brilliant. And I think just as well, we've also had, there's been another email received as well, which has said, how did you build up confidence to present your business?
Well, I pulled on, it's funny, if you look back over your life, I'm not going to go back too far, but it actually starts off with stuff that I did in school, with like being part of the debating team or being part of the school play, and it builds up from that. And then in my earlier sort of professional career, I was into training and development and did training qualifications to build up my skills. So what's happened is through this last couple of years and working with you guys is I have rediscovered the skills that were still in here. And it's just translating it, certainly for this year, into being able to present it digitally. So, you know, instead of having group work, as I would have called it at a physical training session, you now use Zoom breakout rooms. So as soon as you test drive with some of your mates how to actually put people in and out of the rooms, you build up your confidence, and then that's something that you can use in your training. But all of the stuff that I have done in the past, like facilitation skills training, train the trainer stuff, one-to-one counselling, presentation skills, all of that has come together. It's just that it had been put on a shelf and hadn't been used for an awfully long time. But over this year, it's just, wow, it's actually quite cool. And when my daughter has just started a business degree, and she turned around to me, courtesy of WhatsApp, thank you very much for video calls, and said that she was really proud of me, of what I'm achieving, and that is just like, wow, and it's lovely. So I'm actually proud of myself, and I've gained enough confidence now that I can actually say that and not cringe, which is progress. Yeah. So yeah, it's practicing, and it's actually thinking, I know deep down, I know what I'm talking about, and I'm as valid to be able to say something as anybody else. It doesn't matter that I'm virtually housebound at the moment and all the rest of it. It really doesn't matter. It's about what you're communicating.
Excellent. And I think, it's because I am conscious as well. Yes. Time's ticking away, and we could talk for hours on this, I'm sure, and people would enjoy it as well. But let's just touch base on some of the stuff that you've done, because you've actually done some really, really good stuff. You've been interviewed, you've been on panels, you've talked in different locations in the world. So just talk a little bit about some of the stuff that's happened, some of the influential stuff that maybe you thought, ooh, I never would have thought that when we had that first Samee Wiz session and where we are now, that would have taken place.
Oh my goodness. Well, it's like building blocks and momentum and stuff. So we did the session with you, and then a little while later, a friend of mine who had said to me on several occasions, oh, she knew this guy called Martin Sibley, and he does vlogging and stuff, really influential disabled person. It's like, you should get in touch with him. And I'm like, but then because my confidence had built up, when she happened to say, oh, he's put a shout out to say if there's anybody that that's interesting, point them in my direction, I'd like to interview them. So she thought of me, which was lovely. And I thought, F it, I'm just gonna put it out there and have a go. And he interviewed me, and the feedback on that was just fabulous. It was brilliant, and it really boosted my confidence as well. So that was the next step. And then I believe it was out of that was when I got interviewed by the LGBT Foundation. That was more recently, and that was Instagram Live. And it just went down fantastically. So there was, I think, around 480 views of the recording have happened already, and we only did the interview about 3 weeks ago. But then, because of the Martin Sibley interview, somebody in Singapore who was a sexologist emailed Martin, not our Martin here, but that Martin, and said, "Oh, are you interested? I'm doing this Sex and Disability International Virtual Festival. It'd be great if you'd come and speak at it." And he had so many commitments he couldn't. But he pinged it across to me to say, if you're interested, get in touch with this person. So I did, and we had a chat on the Zoom thing. And long story short, I was a panelist on a couple of panels. But the bit that really, really made me laugh after the event was when I did a session with you recently, and you'd sort of gone, "Oh, and by the way, there are other people here." That helped, because on one of the panels that I was on, the person who was supposed to moderate it turned out they couldn't. So about 10 seconds before it was all live, it was sort of at the beginning, I'd realised this is actually going horribly wrong. And because everybody was floundering, I thought, do you know what, I'll give it a go. So I ended up stepping into being the moderator with absolutely no prior warning. And it was like, it turns out I pulled it off.
Excellent.
Fantastic feedback. And now, because the lady who organised it feels that she wants to pass on to somebody else, myself and another guy who's in America are now co-organising the one for 2021. International.
Excellent.
All over the world.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Cool.
Excellent. And I think you've reached as far as Singapore at the moment, haven't you? So not too far. Was it Singapore?
Yeah, there's Singapore, Canada, all parts of America, I think Sweden, Norway, plenty of places in Europe, Australia. So, you know, and the contacts that I've made out of that, and even actually in the UK, there was somebody who was at the event who's from Oxford. And they have an interest in dementia stuff as well, because one of our campaigns for next year is about making sure that care providers can support residents with, or clients with their sexual expression. So I've made contact with this guy in Oxford, so we're going to be able to do some stuff in the UK. Yeah.
Which is good, which is fantastic, and I think, you know, it's quite interesting to see the things that have kind of like we've provided those little pushes and those challenges and those little unexpected things that have kind of actually led on to going, okay, let's pluck up a little bit of courage and, you know, let's go for this. So I think it shows when you just put those limiting beliefs behind and you put those little doubts and niggles, or as we've come to know it, as you've heard us say before, the wonder wobble, when you get those wonder wobbles and you kind of just push past them, you kind of go, yeah, we can do this, let's see what happens. Great things start to happen.
There's also you know, I could just go, right, we're training, that's what we're doing. But actually, part of what we're doing is educating people about disability and what's possible. And so, you know, one of our team is, we've got two sketchy doodlers that we've got on the team. One of them, Dottie, we've already published some of the artwork that we've come up with together. So we both come up with the ideas, or there's something that Mike and I will come across and we go, oh, that would make a really good image. And we pop it across to Dottie, who is in, oh no, it's not France, Italy, yeah, Lake Como. She's on the mountainside in Italy, yeah, we'll zap stuff across to her, and then she does her magic with it, zaps it across. So we're going to be in 2021. We're going to do a charity calendar with those various images in, which then gets the word out wider. We're also almost finished doing a digital sex and intimacy card, so we'll have a physical one printed, but people will be able to just flash their phone at their GP or nurse or whoever and say, look, I really need to talk about this, and just show it. That will break the ice. I it's entirely possible to have a merchandise range, and then people get talking about SWAD because they'll find SWAD through that, because they'll go, oh, who is this crowd? And I no longer think, oh, I can't do that because I'm doing this. It's just time, making sure that you make the time for it.
Excellent. And I think Lake Como would be a brilliant place to have a mentor guru summit,
I think it would be fabulous. It would be great. And there's all places across the UK. I'm open for people being involved in SWAD that are, I've now got contacts in Canada and America. So, when COVID lifts, who knows? You never know where we'll end up.
And you talked about merchandise, which is great to hear that you've got the merchandise coming out. So that's really good as well. And I take it people will be able to see that on the website when that goes live.
Yeah, totally. We're currently researching. We've come to realize that there are companies where if you place your merchandise on their website, then we don't have to actually hold the stock ourselves. There's even companies where they will print to order. So if somebody in Argentina wants a mug, for example, then it'll get printed at a local mug printing company there or close by, rather than we having to have it here and posting it over. So that's what we're exploring at the moment.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That is fantastic. And I know that we've come towards the end of the session. There was a lot more that we could have covered because a lot has happened in that time. And thank you for that. And I just want to say to everyone, these sessions work really, really well each week, but, we want to be able to bring more and more. So if you want to be able to share the session each week and share it amongst people, let people know what's going on, then the main Facebook page, Samee Charity Facebook page, is where you will find the post to be able to share that across. And please, let's grow this audience, because I think, like you said, Lorraine, it is adding much value to people, and it's good to hear the success story of SWAD as it continues to grow. So that's brilliant.
Watch this space.
Exactly. So one more time, if you want to find out a bit more about SWAD and what they're up to, you've got Lorraine's email. If you've got any questions, you're watching this on replay, then admin@swaddorset.org. You've also got the website, www.swaddorset.org. And you've got all the information that you need on there as well. Let us know if you've got value, what's been your takeaways, all those kind of things. And if you want to know any more about the Samee charity, then you've got sam@samee.co.uk, and you've also got ricky@samee.co.uk. Or if you want to be one of our Samee Whiz sessions and you want to be interviewed by us, we have got dates open. We have got a few weeks bookings ahead, but we're always interested to see who wants to come and have a chat with us and let us know what they can do. So as always, thank you for the most valuable asset that you own, which is your time, Lorraine. It has been amazing. Any final thoughts?
Just to say thank you, and anybody is welcome to email me if there is something that we can help with. Obviously we would like to, but just keep going at it, keep picking away at it, and eventually you will get there. It just might take a bit of time.
Wonderful. And the thank yous and the appreciation starting to come in already. Tina said, great session, thank you. Martin has said, thanks Lorraine, you're going from success to success, I love it. And he's promoted his link again, so if you've got any social, you can see the social information on there, and also Martin's website details are on there as well. So thank you everyone for joining us. It's a goodbye from me and a goodbye from Lorraine, I'm sure. And we will see you next week for another exciting episode of Samee Whiz Session. We've got another one lined up, which is going to be a great one next week. We'll post more details about that next week, and if you want to share it, it'll be on the main Facebook Samee Charity page. We look forward to seeing you. Until then, have a good weekend, and we'll speak to you next week. Take care.